asked her, like, would it make sense if you build something like this, where the AI answers the phone and tries to talk to people who are calling for parts or oil change? And she's, yeah, that'll be good. That'll be awesome. And we took a couple of weeks to build an MVP. We put it out. The first week, the AI managed 25% of the calls.
Mxpert Quick Lube, this is Jenny speaking. How can I help you today?
Hey Jenny, I was wondering if you guys only do oil changes or do you also do transmission flush?
Hey, yeah, we do offer transmission flushes too, and it usually takes about 15 to 20 minutes.
Do you have any availability for tomorrow?
For a drive-through service, you can just swing by anytime during our store hours. By the way, we have a $10 coupon for a full synthetic oil change, and I can send it over if you'd like. So would you want me to do that?
Yeah, that'll be great actually.
I just sent you the coupon. Thanks for calling MX for Quick Lube, and we'll see you when you come in tomorrow.
I wanna give you some bad advice. You heard it right, bad advice.
Hello, welcome to Bad Advice. Today I have my great friend Barath with me. Barath works on Mxpert since 2020.
Yep.
And that's when we met, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
In St. John's, Newfoundland. So if you're tuning in from St. John's, definitely have a listen. Now he's here in Toronto. Very glad to see you here. And his company is doing great. He's running some pilots with some of the largest franchisees in the US in the auto repair industry. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
That was so formal. Glad. Very happy you're here. So why don't you do a little introduction?
For sure, yeah. Originally from India, moved to do my undergrad to St. John's, and started the company during my third year.
I didn't know that. You were a student?
Yeah, I was a student. It was just like a side gig, right? I started doing oil changes for other people and then slowly started the company. But yeah, I was a student.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. And I remember we connected, I think, through an accelerator back in St. John's called MCE, for anyone wondering.
Yeah, you're actually the first one I spoke to, right?
Oh, no.
I remember the first call we had. It was during the pandemic. It was over the phone. You were talking to me about lean canvas.
That's why this is called Bad Advice. Don't listen. I hope you didn't listen, but we'll get into that. So you're in your third year, you start Mxpert, or I remember it was a different company.
Yeah, it was called McMonkey back then.
Okay. What did you do?
Yeah, so from school, I was just doing my own oil changes and brake repairs and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
Like as a side gig?
Yeah, as a side. I was doing it on my own car. It's just like I like doing it, and I was driving a lot during that time, so I had to get my oil change done every month. So this is expensive. And so I had to learn how to do my own oil changes. And then I started doing my own oil changes. And so I was working at this pizza store and people started asking me like, hey, could you like also do my oil change? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Because I bought all the tools, right? I invested in all the tools and the ramp, the drain pan and all those things. I was like, hey, this is cool. Maybe, I can do it for other people. I created this Facebook page called Mobile Auto Repairs. I was just like crazy during that time, right? That was my second year. I think late in my first year or something. So I just wanted to try it out. So I started doing it and I think I had 10 services done. And my 11th customer was like, do you have are you certified? Do you have insurance? I stopped it and I thought about it like, so what is really the issue? So the certification, insurance and those things. So why not? So I was doing business at this time. Why not get the certified independent mechanics as freelancers? And I just paid $5, I think, per day on Facebook ads. I ran a bunch of ads. People were asking me for invoice because they have to claim it from the company and everything. I was like, no, I'm in the process. I'm in the process of doing it. So I'll reach out when I have it. And so I just wanted to like get the certified independent mechanics. And then I wanted to like just connect them, build an app, connect them. So yeah, I was doing it with another person during that time. He built a basic app for technicians as well as the customers. So you can actually like do services and stuff. So I spoke to a couple of part-time technicians, hired them like on-call basis. Mm-hmm. I tried to get them insured. We couldn't get the technicians insured because insurance companies felt that was like a high risk.
Yeah, so that makes sense.
Yeah, and then we pivoted. Yeah, that's the story of the first.
That's so crazy. And this is all in St. John's. And before you talk about pivoting, I think we talked about that. Can you tell us your contrarian thoughts on startups?
Yeah, for sure. So when I started this, moving from like me offering the services to like doing it as a startup, like hiring technicians and like doing it as a proper business, like with an app and everything. So that's when I was talking to you guys.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, so I think it was good. So that's when I was talking to you guys, right? And pretty much anybody I spoke to during that time stressed a lot about customer discovery, and people still do. During the initial days, more than customer discovery, what really helped us was like building something basic, putting it in front of the customer, getting them to use it and like seeing it, because they usually don't know what they need. And when you're first developing something, unless we actually were like a shop owner, I wasn't a shop owner, so I didn't know what exactly they would need. So that kind of helped. So instead of spending too much time on customer discovery, how many interviews did you conduct? Like those were like the kind of KPIs for the KPIs back then.
100 interviews.
Yeah, 100 interviews.
I don't know why it's 100 at every accelerator. It's 100.
I spoke to 100 people, by the way. So this was during the marketplace thing, right? I spoke to 100 people. I even had pre-sales. I actually got people like saying that they would use the app to book their mobile oil change service and stuff. So I did do that. But then, yeah, it's just the insurance thing didn't work out and stuff. Yeah.
I was talking to this lady, I hope she's watching actually, and about their journey, and they're doing customer discovery. And I was one of the potential customers doing the interview. And it was very intense. It was like hour long, and it was very deep very hard questions. I'm like, how long have you been doing like customer discovery? And 3 months. Yeah, right. It's
a lot. Yeah.
I'm like, why? Oh, Accelerator wants to see like 100 customer discoveries. I'm like, 3 months, you could build the software in 3 months now, especially with the AI tools these days. Like sometimes it's a lot faster than to prototype that.
Yeah, and also this is, exactly, right? This is pre-AI. So I think customer discovery did make sense during that time, because you are going to be spending like weeks or months building an MVP.
It was like at my time, like 2015, I started my first company, 2012. It was like a year. It would take 6 months to a year to build like a full stack app, because the tooling was not there.
Yeah. Now you can build something like in a couple of days. And I think build something, just put it in front of all your potential customers, get them to talk about their issues. Yeah. But I think the whole point of customer discovery is not showing them what you're building. But anyways.
Yeah, it's like fake validation.
Yeah.
Or even maybe incorrect invalidation.
Yeah. But then if you think about it, like most companies pivot. Yeah. They do their customer discovery, they build the product, but then most companies pivot. If you do customer discovery, you shouldn't need to pivot, right? But yeah, I think it's just one of those things.
It's like a waste of time, in your opinion?
I don't think it's waste of time. I don't think people should be spending the 3 months on customer discovery.
Maybe a day. So there was this other day, I have this interesting story regarding this other day, there was a week where I had this crazy idea in my head. I was like, oh my God, this is the most fantastic business idea ever. This is crazy. Maybe I should pivot to this. What am I going to do? And then I was like, why am I not asking other people? I told this idea to 4 people. 3 of them said no. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I was like in one day, just texting.
Yep.
I was like, oh, that could be customer discovery. It doesn't have to be this like hour-long, in-depth
100%.
Group studies.
Yeah. So when between our first product and now, we had a shop management system for mom and pop shops, auto repair shops. So I did talk to customers during that time, and it was more like having a casual conversation than asking them questions. And then they talk to us about what they have and what problems they have with it, what would be nice for them to have. I don't think we should take that, because if they're still using like old system or something, they don't know what they need. But they actually signed up to use our system as soon as we had it, I can even call it an alpha version. So they were ready to use our very first version of the product as soon as we had it. So I think that's a really good thing. If you're talking to customers, get some kind of commitment like that.
It's more like marketing than
just
discovery.
Telling them what you're planning and talk to them about it, then just go for on questions. Yeah,
that makes sense. Also, I think commitment, monetary commitment.
Yeah.
I feel like without that, customer discovery doesn't mean anything, because you can tell me your idea and I'll be like, oh, it's fantastic, it's great, it's amazing. And then I know this happens in businesses a lot. Like
Yeah.
even in sales call, you have a
Yeah.
sales call with somebody, they go, it's amazing, but they don't want it.
Yeah,
And they're the one who booked it actually.
yeah.
Let alone a random person you're
Yeah.
interviewing. That's great. Tell me what happened then. So you pivoted from doing mobile oil change to mom and pop garages, like
No, we
software,
actually
or-
had another product in between that.
and pivots you done. So I
So
can
first
keep track.
it was first the mobile mechanic thing, and then we pivoted to a marketplace for auto repairs.
Okay.
I think you might remember we did a pilot with one of the automotive groups in St.
Yes.
John's.
Yeah.
So they were a paying customer. We actually did get some traction with that, and then it was the shop management system, and then customer engagement system, and then the product that we have right now was just an expansion of the customer engagement system.
Makes sense. So 5. Yeah. Let me know how that went. Like, especially, I guess the one that you had customers. What was wrong there? Like, why did you not stick with that?
So right after the whole insurance thing didn't work out with the mobile mechanic thing, so we thought like this will be like the phase 2 of our company, which was like a marketplace, right? So the idea was that it was a marketplace already between technicians and customers. And then the later plan was to add the mom and pop shops, dealerships, and them to offer services.
Yeah.
Because the disconnect back then was like customers have to call shops for appointments. They don't know what's going on. Same with the dealerships. You have to call them. Or that's when they started like having online forms. So you fill out a form, they get an email. So somebody from the dealership had to call and confirm the appointment kind of thing. So there was like so much manual process. If you want an appointment now, you can't book it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for the customer side, we don't. So why would you like call multiple places, right? Asking for appointments, maybe for pricing.
Yeah.
Those are like the 2 key things. Hey, when can I get it done, and how much should we charge for it? So we wanted to put it in the app and like connect the customers. We onboarded this automotive group. They owned 15 dealerships at that time, I think. We did a pilot with one of their dealerships. So they were ready to actually service all makes and models. So they had their service advisor use our system. Like we had a web app for them to manage the availability and services, pricing, and all those kind of things. And we built an app for customers to see what shops are available. They could see the customer rating, they could review it in app, and then it'll take them to Google. They can see the pricing, they can see the availability, book, confirmation, payment. So once the service is done, while the service is being done, they'll have a status bar.
Yeah.
The car is in for service, completed, ready for pickup and stuff. And once the service is done, they can just pay using Apple Pay, Google Pay in app, and they'll get the invoice and save it in app. So, okay.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Why don't we have
So other dealerships reached out to us. They wanted to get on board, but they wanted more customizations. We were talking to a Ford dealership at that time. They wanted us to integrate with their Ford Pass app. So Ford Pass is like the app that connects with all Ford vehicles, right? Like you can see the vehicle's health and everything.
Got her.
I think that's being an early stage startup, you can like right off the bat integration those apps, right? And on the other side, when I was talking to customers, like people like us who book service appointments, the problem they told us was, hey, like I go to this shop, I go to this X shop, let me know when you get them on board. I'll use your app to book an appointment, because the problem is I just can't get hold of them. Like anytime I call, they just won't answer my phone, or they're always 3 weeks booked out. Problems like that.
So switching from like solving the garage problem to the end user's problem
Yeah, exactly. But we still had to work with the garages.
to set it up there.
Yeah, so we
Losing money on the customer moving on to another garage that's answering them quickly.
yeah, and yes, that, and also, but customers were not actually moving shops often. So that was another thing we understood. Like once customer finds a place that they trust, like they like the guy at the shop, they don't want to be switching places for every oil change. They just want to keep going to the same place. So that was learning on the B2C side. So the problem really was then the engagement between the shop and the customer. So when we went and spoke to these shops, so we basically said, hey, like your customers, we spoke to your customers, they're saying like, these are the problems. Why don't you use our app and let your customers book an appointment through it? We won't charge you. Let them just use it for free, right? We won't charge you at all if they're your existing customer. They were like, it's cool if they basically said, it's cool if you're bringing me new customers, but if I don't want my existing customers to use your app. And there's no way to really stop them from using it. So we asked like, why do you not want your customers to use it? Because they are telling us that they have these problems, which our app is solving. And they were like, no, we're just like scared of the pricing competition between the shops. They are thinking that their customer might decide to go to a different place.
Yeah.
But the
What
store
you want.
Yeah, but the story is we understood like even though they are paying like maybe $10 or $20 more for a service, they were still looking to go to the same place. So when we looked at these mom and pop shops, they were still using pen and paper, right? So we talked to them like, why are you still using it? And they were using an invoice system based on MS-DOS. We were like, oh my God. So we identified this problem. So customer having issues talking to the booking appointments and stuff, and these guys are still using pen and paper.
Yeah.
So I think we could build something here. So we built a shop management system, which also had the customer engagement functionalities like online bookings, text messaging back and forth, all those kind of things.
Yeah.
So we built a work order system, invoicing, we integrated with QuickBooks and all those kind of things. We had a few beta testers who signed up, like who got the training done. They were super excited. So we were going after owner-operator shops. So they got the training, they would use it for a day or maybe max couple of days, and then they'll slowly shy away, go back to using their pen and paper or...
Interesting. Why do you think that is?
I think they don't have, it's because they're the owners. They don't have any...
It
doesn't matter. Like for them, it's, I don't know. I know how this thing works. So
Screw this.
I met this guy who actually tested our system. So he won't even use the mouse because the whole invoice system was based on MS-DOS.
Yeah.
He won't even look at the monitor. He won't even look at the monitor. He'll just keep talking to the customer. He'll just go like this.
I know.
I was like, oh my God.
The garage I take my car to is like that. It's like from 50 years ago. He printed my invoice on one of those nail printers. What printers I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I remember the last time I saw that was in Iran 25, 30 years ago.
Yeah, that's crazy. At least the shops we were working with had new printers.
Like, oh my God, this guy hasn't changed a bit since like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
But great mechanic. Well, yeah, I guess they don't care.
That's the thing, right? Like they
by the way, these guys are booked for the next 2-3 weeks. Like,
exactly.
yeah.
So that's the thing. Because they don't manage their appointments very well, like they don't have a system that tells for oil change you need to book like one hour or like 40 minutes. They're not being efficient if you think about it. They're just going with the flow.
I call them, I'm like, what do I do? When do I come in? I'm like,
Exactly. Yeah, that or they just think, okay, let's take 8 services or 9 services per day based on the number of service base they have. They just write it down. If they're like done with 9, just go to the next sheet.
Yeah.
They don't look at what services, not everybody looks at what services they're booked for.
Yeah.
Some might be like brakes 1 or 2 hours. Some might be like suspension, steering, more than that. Some might be oil change in a very short period of time.
Got it.
So
that's very interesting. So what happens there? Why doesn't that work out? So you think they just don't care? But what about the bigger ones, like the bigger garages?
So they were already using a system.
Oh, okay. So you have competitor in that space.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So that's when we rebranded to Mxpert because so the whole point of McMonkey was Grease Monkey means technician, so mobile mechanic, McMonkey. And we rebranded because the business model changed. That's when we rebranded to Mxpert. We first wanted to call it Mxpert, but our customers started calling us Mxpert. So we're just like, let's just go with customers.
That makes sense. Yeah, that's a cool name.
Yeah, thank you.
Memorable.
Yeah, that's when we rebranded. The problem with that was, as you said, because they didn't have any authority above them to tell them, hey, you should be using this every day. They shied away from it, but customers still kept using it. And as to your point, like we worked with mom and pop owner-operated shops, and then we met this customer who had like different kind of setup. They were still single location, but there was this owner who was not part of the daily operations. They had a manager before, owner operated. He's the manager. He's the front desk guy. He's the one ordering parts.
Yeah.
Sometimes even doing some services. This was different. They were already using a shop management system. But they said, hey, this system doesn't do these things. Like the customer engagement piece I was talking about right before. Can I test your system for just that? And they wanted to do like a targeted promotion to the people who deferred their break work during the last service.
Oh, interesting.
The last 4 months or something.
Yeah.
So we generated a report from their shop management system. It's just a few clicks. They were able to send messages from our system to customers, they generated over $5,200 in 18 days.
Oh, nice.
That's like completely new revenue.
Yeah.
All booked through our system, like online booking system. They wrote us a $500 check. And we thought like, why are we trying to do everything like
Yeah.
B2B, like repair orders, invoices, customer engagement, just too much going on.
Got it. I feel like I have this idea recently, like I've been thinking about, which is a lot of companies think about like they're creating a new like category or market, whereas it's more like you're discovering.
Yep.
The needs already are there in the market that's
right.
too complicated. And then you go there and shift in the market until you like find your spot and that you try to hold on to that spot, right?
Yeah. And you also understand how the industry operates, right? Integrations are key. Like instead of trying to do everything, like partner with other companies that are doing different parts of things. Like you most often see like, for example, your company, you guys only focus on notifications, right?
Yeah, only transactional notifications.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, even in that category, even though we have 6 channels, we're adding 2, becoming 8. Really, there's only 3 of them that's heavily used that people come to us for. Yeah, so it's like even nicher than that.
Yeah, so I think that is really good, right? Like when you pick a very niche market, like you know exactly what your system does to exactly who does it for.
Yeah.
So you can just go after them and integrate with other whatever platforms make sense. So you can just just go sit into their workflow, existing workflow.
Yeah.
Which I think is much better than trying to do
change. Yeah, this is like maybe I've seen this so many times where a founder tries to come up with, I would use the word operating system for a business, like a full-on dashboard where they would spend their day in.
Yep.
And I think it almost never works.
Yep.
Because like people are too used to their own ways and there's just too much complexity to fit in one dashboard.
Yep.
Versus if you can fit it within their current workflow.
Yep.
I don't know, if they're using whatever system, can you integrate with that using text or using like a URL or something versus, hey, don't use that system, use this system.
Yeah.
I think that just almost never works. And it's only worked for like Salesforce and HubSpot and a handful of companies maybe.
Yeah, and another thing we found in the auto repair space is multiple shop management systems integrate with each other. That was a very interesting thing. They are competitors.
They're competitors.
They are competitors, but they still integrate with each other. And they offer some features. They both offer the features. So customers pay for both. Some have their customer base, all their customer database, like in one system, they just don't want to stop using it. They get this new system, which does more new things, integrate, pulls data.
So interesting. Yeah, you never think about the market like that.
Yeah, you don't think about it when you're entering the market, but then once you enter the market, like you look at how things, happen and you understand and you pivot. That's what
you're not going to get that from customer discovery interviews. Yeah.
No way. No
That's
way.
so interesting. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I feel especially in this day and age, you put something out and you crawl your way into a space in the market that nobody's filling. And it's not like you're creating a new category. I don't think that even exists. I think you're just finding gaps in sort of society or the market and just filling those gaps.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what's the last
I think
a company built a new category of something.
Yeah. I know that's one of the things like people talk about, right? Like creating your own category.
Are you creating a category? Oh, I don't think that ever happened, actually. I think somebody made it up because I was thinking of like iPhone.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't the first smart. And there was a whole slew of smartphone and they just got smarter and smarter. And before a smartphone, there was this big handheld phones you had at phone. So it was more like a very gradual, I don't think they created a category essentially.
At least I think you can't like consciously create a category.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to think, do you know of any companies that created a category?
I don't know, actually. I've heard, I think Cal.com was the first company to
built a calendar. Yeah.
That was a different category, right?
You could say, yeah. But
in the industry that they were going after, maybe.
Yeah.
Online booking tools were always there, but just not.
Yeah, not so easily accessible to.
Yeah, not between like sales or like in companies like B2B companies or.
Yeah, like they had that or online, a place that needed booking, online booking, they already had that. It's just we didn't have access to it in a democratized way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Uber maybe, maybe something like that. But yeah, it's so few of them that I think it's almost wrong to think, oh, I'm building a completely
think-
brand new experience.
Yeah, I think until you have like customers finding value in your product, paying for your product,
Yeah.
until you get a really good idea on what your product is, you can like spend time on. I think, yeah, it's just waste of time if you think about creating a category or like thinking about your marketing message. Those are like a few things people talk about like during when starting a startup, but then it almost never makes sense. Like it's just pretty much waste of time in the early days.
Yeah,
Like you should be super customer obsessed. Keep talking to customers. So this customer we onboarded, I used to go like every other day. So initially the first week I was going every day. So I was talking to the manager, right? Like manager was our point of contact. And she used to just talk about us. Like, these are the issues we are having. Just so many other
very
things.
casually.
Yeah, very casually. And what's crazy is like we had a meeting, right, to talk about something. And she just kept pushing the meeting for 2 days in the week. And I still go, like the shop was like, I think 3 kilometers or something from my place. I would still go say hi to the technician. I just got so used to it. I was like, because they're using our system, right? Let's go talk to them. So she just kept pushing the meeting. I was like, yeah, why? What's up? And she was like, yeah, the friend desk guy, he took sick leave continuously for 3 days. I was okay. That's kind of bad. Like it was all like last minute every day. And I asked like, why do you have to sit in the front desk? Because she does so many other things like accounting, talking. She talks to fleet customers to get fleets coming in. Like they still do sales, right? Like they have a completely different mindset, increasing the sales. They have a platform where they manage everything. They have a goal.
And these are the franchises, right? Or
these are like multi-location groups.
Okay.
But this was still a single location, but they were like planning on opening another location. They were like,
So
they
the
was completely
mindset.
different. Exactly. The language was completely different, all like talking about metrics and things. So when I was talking to her, she said this guy took sick leave, and I asked her like, why do you have to sit in the front desk? It's not like customers are coming in every minute or like every 5 minutes. She was like, yeah, I get these phone calls nonstop. And so customers come in the morning to drop off the keys, and then they come in the evening to pick it up, right? They make the payment, they pick up the car, and that's how it's done. So in the middle of the day, like customers call to check in what's going on. Is my car ready and stuff like that. And they were also getting a ton of calls. So this was one of the Napa repair shops. They were getting a ton of calls from people that they were thinking like Napa part shop. They were a Napa part shop. So people would just call and be like, can I get a quote on set of brake pads? Can I get a quote of quote on this oil filter? Every time they pick up the phone and they'll say, we are Napa repair shop, not a part shop. Here's the phone number. Hang up the phone. And worst case, they were getting 1 call every hour, like 1 or 2 calls every hour. So that's like, they're open like 9 hours a day. That's just crazy, right? Like more than 10, like 12 calls. You don't even know why those calls are coming in. You still have to answer them. They might be a potential customer.
That's it.
And sometimes they go crazy. Like they have 3-4 people on hold. They can't like answer. Like when these guys are called, like they don't know why they're calling in, right? So this specific shop, they take appointment for every service but oil change. So oil change is first come, first serve. So every time they get they were like
just come in,
they were like the cheapest shop in the city, like for the oil change. And they had a really good customer reviews and everything. So people call, can I come in? Can I book an appointment? They would just be like, they won't get the customer information or anything. Yeah, we do oil changes. Just come tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. We'll get it done. That's it. So I asked her, like all the AI is like booming, and I show her ChatGPT and stuff. I asked her, like, would it make sense if you build something like this, where the AI answers the phone and tries to talk to people who are calling for parts or oil change, and then just transfer the calls, the appointment calls, and the rest of the services. And she's, yeah, that'll be good. That'll be awesome. And we took a couple of weeks to build an MVP. We put it out. The first week, the AI managed 25% of the calls.
Wow.
So that's when you're like, okay, this is really cool. And then so this was really like kind of interesting. And then we went to talk to quick loop customers who have this business model of no appointment, drive through only oil change locations. We found that they don't even have, I've been there before, you probably been to like quick loops, right? You just drive through, they don't have a front desk, they don't have a manager. Everyone, including the manager, is doing oil changes.
Yes, yeah.
And the crazy part is, I thought like, why would these guys get phone calls? Because they're no appointment drive-through only, right?
I've called them Mxpert myself, to be honest.
Yeah, so surprisingly enough, they get a lot more phone calls than typical auto repair shops.
Really?
Yeah, during tire season, right?
Called them for tires, yeah.
Shops get 80 to 100 calls a day. Like we've even seen 120 calls a day per shop.
That's like hour to 2 hours of someone's time.
Exactly. Yeah, they
And then
sometimes
you
hire.
extrapolate that to a month. That's pretty significant.
Yeah, they only get that many calls during the tire season, like before and after winter.
Okay, yeah.
During off season, it's 30, 40 calls a day kind of thing. And they used to hire like seasonal phone answerers to just answer these calls.
Yeah, I believe it. Like I tell you my case, I was like checking, I think it was Mr. Lube's website for some tires, but I'm like, I don't trust they have this tire in store. I called the store and yeah, they don't have it. And so that process of them getting the tire information and then checking in their system, that's 5 minutes at least.
Yeah, like the technicians have to stop working on the car, pick up the phone, go sit on the computer, look at the tire, tell them like, do you have it on stock?
And I was negotiating on the call for it's like, no, the website says this. I think it was like even more than 5 minutes. A 5 minute talk there.
Yeah, which was like crazy. And we onboarded a couple of quick loop shops just for like a test kind of thing in the beginning. And then we did really good. We started with 47% of the calls with limited use cases. And we went like above 60%. Just trained the AI on more and more use cases.
Congrats. That's fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, right now we focus on quick loop shops, which are no appointment drive-through only. We focus on multi-location franchisees that are like, that have the technicians answering all those phones. And also another crazy part is sometimes, so the owners or the management don't have any control over the phones right now. They have no data on like how many calls they're getting, nothing.
That's true.
So people could just put the phone receiver off. Things happen, right?
Oops.
Yeah, oops. Before an hour, they close, like things happen. But customers call. If you don't get an answer, you're just going to call the different shop.
Yeah, especially for like oil change or
exactly.
whatever.
Yeah, we just try to solve the problem and I think we're doing a decent job.
That's fantastic. What would you say you've learned doing all this, like on a personal level? Like, how has this experience changed you?
I think I definitely got this like not to give up mindset. And also it's just like learning different things, right? Sales, like doing cold calling and things like, it's just every day, like I'm out of my comfort zone. Like anything that I do, I'm out of my comfort zone. And whenever I do that, I'm learning things and improving as a person, personality and everything pretty much.
That's pretty cool. Would you say you're like introverted or extroverted?
I'm very much introverted.
Yeah, okay. And then doing sales like outbound, that must be a challenge.
Yeah, it is.
I remember I had this gig when I was a student. I had to stay in the Mon campus and collect surveys on behalf of Microsoft for some reason. And there was nothing. There was no gift card. There was nothing in return for doing the survey. So I had to like convince just students like, hey, can you please fill the survey?
Yeah.
And that was one of the most, I would say, challenging experiences of my life. It was just asking random people to do something for you that they hate doing, nobody likes.
Yeah. Think about pitching, right? Like first, like usually when people present, like they'll have a deck ready and they'll like practice few times, which is exactly what I was doing for the first few times when I was pitching the first idea. And then eventually it's just, pitching, sure, no worries. Like, it's just like, you just go with the flow. You don't have to practice anything. It just comes like from all your conversations and everything. And I'm just like thinking about it, like in the early days, it's like, I had to like prepare the pitch deck and make sure I know which points I'm going to talk about in each slide and everything. But now it's just...
Sometimes I feel like that works against me because I've definitely done pitches where people were like they felt like I'm not serious at all. Yeah, I've definitely done that. There was this like online thing I was attending, like a workshop, and the mentor asked us to do like a homework, which was problem statement. And I've done this like a million times, right? So I didn't do it. I just showed up and then the mentor was like, okay, can you share your file? I'm like, no, I was just going to talk about it in like the back of my hand. And the mentor actually got mad and started yelling at me. That was hilarious. But yeah, I totally understand. So
We still do work on reports and things like that.
reports, no.
Like for example, we were just talking about it right before about ROI metrics, like how to prove the value, like those things you have to still like work and think
Yeah.
about it, work on it, because you can talk about your problem solution, but then you have to talk about like how it's going to solve their problem. And
I
It's
think
not
for
full
you,
value and
definitely yes. Not for you, it's a much more complicated sales process, I feel like.
Yeah.
Where for us, it's more emotional and marketing. Even though
Right.
we're selling to developers, like to think they're very logical, but they're
Yeah.
not. Like they all love AWS or hate AWS
Right.
because there's no love or hate for a cloud service.
yeah, but you can still like come up with ROI calculator, right? Like the time spent, I think you talked about it before.
It wouldn't matter.
Oh
Yeah, you think it would matter, but it
I've
doesn't
seen.
matter.
I
Yeah,
remember you were talking about developers spending too much time on building a system.
They do,
versus
yeah. So
difference.
the thing is, it's counterintuitive. So you can tell the developer, hey, you're gonna spend 6 less weeks building this if you
Right.
use our software. But usually they love spending 6 weeks.
Oh yeah,
They don't want to actually. They want to code that. They would enjoy coding that.
it's like the mom and pop scenario.
They enjoy having maybe that many people around and being busy. Yeah. I feel like with dev tools, and if you think about it, like as I'm thinking about all the cloud providers or the standard dev tools, none of them have like calculators or anything, but they have fantastic like events. They bring Obama to their conference.
Oh, yeah.
So it's very interesting. It's like a counterintuitive space, dev tools. And I'm a developer myself, and I like to think I'm not emotional at all. At the end of the day, you're selling to humans. It's an emotional process. The reason also is less about ROI is the deals are much smaller. Like we're talking about, okay, SMS for a company, even if they're doing fantastic, okay, they may be spending a couple $1,000s on this a month.
Okay.
This is a contract that can be paid with their credit cards. It doesn't need a very intense negotiation.
Yeah.
But yeah, in your case, definitely, like it requires that level of reporting and presenting.
Yeah.
For us, like we have devs who just sign up.
So how would you like talk about the ROI to customers?
They go to a website, they sign up, they like it, they buy it.
Okay.
Yeah. If you think about developers, like they don't go on sales calls mostly.
Yeah.
They rather not. They would prefer that it's all transparent.
No, I
there
understand. I totally understand. Yeah. Yeah.
And just us as people, you don't want
My
to go on
co-founder doesn't like to go on
Yeah.
sales calls.
If you look at it from a buyer's perspective too, like you're a buyer of many things yourself personally. With a lot of things you don't care. You just want to go on a website, book something, get something done.
Yep.
Like Uber, you don't want to talk to somebody. It's true.
That's true.
So dev tools are like that and developers are like that too. And it's a positive and a negative. It's a double-edged sword for sure. By the way, I wanted to ask this. Are you using any of the AI tools yourself?
Yes, I do. We use a lot actually in the company. So we're a team of 3 and we want to have as much automations as possible. So we use a bunch of tools like make.com. We're looking into Airtable for some of the customer like inquiries and using it internally for a bunch of other things. So,
is your team using like Cursor or Windsurf for any of the AI coding tools?
Yeah, they do. They use, I think they use the VS Code one.
Copilot, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They use that and yep.
Have you seen it yourself?
What
like what it does, that agent in the coding?
No, actually, no.
You should see it.
Yeah.
I've demoed it to a couple of non-technical people. It blows their mind.
Yeah, so when I was at the conference, right, last weekend, so this was an automotive conference, and one of the companies there who presented actually had the video from the Cursor, like they built something internally, like a basic chatbot or something like that for the internal purposes. They just had a basic one up. They just write the prompt and then it goes like to write the code, right? So, it is pretty cool. I've seen videos, but never seen us using it. My team is in St. John's, so right? So I think I'll see something in person when I go this summer.
Yeah. And so you have a co-founder and you have an employee.
Founding engineer, yeah.
Founding engineer.
Yep.
And there's no everybody's technical except you. You do the sales and everything.
So I actually met my co-founder in the same incubator that we are based in. He built the app and everything. And on my end, he didn't focus too much on the business side, but on my end, I had issues with the technical side.
Yeah.
But I was talking to potential customers and them, and we talked about it, and then we thought it was a really good fit. First, he joined as a developer in the company, and then later we had this discussion. He has the entrepreneurial mindset and he understands the space. So he actually had his car in for service at one of the pilot stores that we were working with during that time.
Interesting.
So he understood the industry, he understood the problem that we were trying to solve and all those good things, which really made us like a good fit.
Wait, you didn't have a technical co-founder up until 2024. How did you build everything up until then?
I used a consulting company overseas. Yeah. I don't use a consulting company.
I'm curious, was it in India? Because you're...
It was,
Okay.
yeah, that's right.
I've always wondered if I should like outsource a bunch of stuff to Iran. That's where I'm from.
Yeah.
But I always had my doubts as well.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe because I'm not technical. I think it's good if you just hire people and you tell them exactly what they should do and they do it. But if you let them like come up with their own plan, the architecture is not really good.
I was considering more so employment.
I think that makes sense. I think that makes
a lot
sense.
more sense.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
But
in my case,
consulting-
I was just like, this is the outcome I need. This is what I want, build it, right?
Yeah.
I didn't care to look too much into the specifics of the architecture, like how they were doing it and things, because I didn't have access to it. They built a roadmap of their own, like when they're going to release what, and they just told me. They didn't give me, they just gave me the front end in the beginning, and then later they just gave me the version 1. I didn't have any access to the application in between. So it was taking like days to fix bugs when we first had the first product, which should be like minutes. So yeah, there was so much learning through that experience. I wouldn't want to work with them. My co-founder hates it. My co-founder hates working with any consulting firms.
Yeah, I can see them. I don't know what's going to happen to them with AI, especially. Like,
Yeah.
because there were,
Curious to,
I assume a lot of them were focused on MVPs.
You know what, actually? So I get ads on Instagram and LinkedIn. So now all these consulting firms, I think, changed to like building AI applications. Using AI tools. So they just say for $6,000, we built you an MVP, blah, 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 using all this AI tools.
At least it's 60,000. 6,000 or 60?
I said 6,000. Yeah.
Okay. How much did you pay, if you don't mind?
Oh my God. I don't even want to think about it. I was crazy. I think it was like almost $40,000.
Wow. That's crazy. I know a company, I'm not going to name names. I think they spent around $100K on a mobile app they wanted.
Yeah.
But they got a proposal back.
Okay.
And the proposal was like, listen, we're going to build you a web app. And this person didn't know or didn't read it fully or didn't understand the difference. And they got a web app. This is a true story.
That's crazy. I had understanding of the web app and mobile apps.
But like these companies are really very difficult to work with. Like,
so
to say the least.
Actually, these guys actually told me that they will also give me what do you call installing the application?
Deployment or?
No, I mean a traditional app, like software that you install in the computer.
Executable? I don't know.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So these guys told me that they would also give me a version of something that you would install. I said, no, it has to be. It has to be like on cloud.
Yeah.
I don't even need that.
I have so many horror stories.
Yeah, I think there are some good companies too who do
100%.
it the proper way, but they're obviously super expensive.
Good companies are more expensive than a good employee.
100%.
Yeah, because they would hire those type of employees to build it, and then their margin gets added.
Yeah,
to that.
because they have dedicated, what do you call them, like product managers?
Yeah, product.
To talk to you, like they build stories, like customer stories and come up with a plan. They do so much planning and then they go into execution.
It's so funny, like a lot of founders, like founder types just have difficulty with like consultants.
I know. I recently spoke to a company that said, we'll guarantee you this many leads, this many meetings.
I get so many of those emails. Do they work or have you tried?
No, I didn't try it. No, so I spoke to them. I was just curious, like, how can you guarantee somebody like this many meetings, if not money back and everything? But it's not actually that. When you talk to them, they say you have to pay $2,000 for running these things. Like they would spend like $30 per day or something on ads, and they will give us a script on what like we need done, all those kind of things. But it just doesn't make sense.
I feel like if anybody,
You're not getting the money back, by the way. that's just a marketing play.
they just threw that.
You're not getting the money back. So the money that you might spend from the second month, if you don't see any results, you might get it back. The first thing is like an onboarding fee. So that's like few other companies that do something like this. But anyways,
I always think about like all these people that sell courses or marketing consultants, like these ones that are like, oh, like we get you this many leads. If you could do a good job, like you wouldn't be really needing to do this business at all. You would have a fantastic business yourself.
Yeah, I think about it too. If this guy can guarantee like certain industry companies X number of leads, then they can just build a company of their own and like just get leads coming in. Like
these course guys, like how to become a, I don't know, crypto billionaire. Like, why are you selling courses like for $40, man? Thank you so much for coming. This was super fun. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Bad advice. You heard it right. Bad advice.